Oh, why wait? Let's roll right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Star Trek New Worlds. Yes, I was a few seconds early there, but you don't want to see a black screen. You want to see the real deal, Holyfield, and we are here. Live, stereo sound, full effect, Dolby surround. Here we go. Welcome to Star Trek New Worlds. My name is Tony, and in today's exciting episode, we're going to be talking about grabby Klingons and the things that they do, the Juggernauts unveiling massive warships that are scaring everybody across the quadrant. We have, is this the Sea Peoples of Star Trek New Worlds, as in like the collapse of the Bronze Age? We have some invaders from outside the galaxy. What is going on? And of course, the Gorns are making some big gains, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But if this is your first time here on Star Trek New Worlds and you are wondering, Tony, what's going on? This is a turn-based strategy game that we play using the rules of Federation Empire as laid out and published by the Amarillo Design Bureau. The map that you will see here shortly is produced by the magic of Vassal. And of course, we bring it to you live here today on YouTube and Twitch. So if you like what we do here, then please feel free to be like Richard Hayden there and hit that subscribe button. We are at 291 on our way to 500. The goal is to get to 500 so we can unlock the community tab here on YouTube and share more exciting content with you all. Again, if you're first time viewer, then feel free to let me walk you around the screen here. You will see between me and the chat there is a QR code, and then down there a link to coffee.com. You can head over there and feel free to support us using the caffeine injection button. When you do that, there will be a disruptor blast that will be fired, and you will see your name appear on not only in the chat, but go through the screen, letting us all know that you have fired a coffee support our way. There are 3 tiers there. You can join us on our Discord channel on the highest tier and partake in our witty banter, role play back and forth, and of course the chitter chatter that goes around all these different turns. And of course, coffee subscribers are the first folks in line and get credit to be able to join our new campaigns as they get up and running. We are currently sort of in the works to potentially have a new campaign running by the end of December / beginning of January. We shall see. But we currently have 2 campaigns on the go. And of course, today we're going to be talking about Star Trek New Worlds. Last thing is the bar on the bottom. You will see it is white right now, but as we go and it progresses this way, you will see a green bar that will indicate our goal for today in coffee support, which is not 1, not 2, but 3, 4 coffees is our goal today. Picking up on the success of our last live stream, 4 is the goal. We'll see if we can hit the Quattro coffee for any particular live stream, but I digress. Before I go any further, let me just quickly shout out all those who have joined us here live today. Bill is in the house. Gorns are here in the Spificus Maximus class heavy cruiser. Big stumping plasma. Yes, and Carl is good to note that sounds a lot like Gorns, maybe not with my accent, but yes, the Bill is saying that we eat Gorns for salads and as a side dish. Very interesting. Eugene reporting in from American Airlines Terminal LAX. Too important to miss this. Whoa, ladies and gentlemen, let's not hold back. Fire. Coffee has been fired. Away we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Hydrant Tears has fired a coffee. Let me take a big swig in celebration of those methane-filled Hydrant Tears. Oh, goodness gracious. Well, Eugene, like I say, is coming to us live from LAX. Thank you very much. Eugene is, of course, our diligent press agent, public affairs officer, marketeer, who is keeping us up to date on all things happening, not only around the globe, but, of course, here in Star Trek New Worlds. Bill says they have a Surrendero, the most glorious Gornish hegemony. Orcs surrendering? Interesting. Carl's in the house. Pew, pew, pew. Zoom, blam. Paul, hi all. Del, good evening. The Bat from the Dark says. Will Culbertson, hey everybody. Carl, howdy. And then, of course, Carl, got a pick on the hydrants. Okay, let's get rolling. Quick clearing of the throat. I'm noticing we are just shy of the double digits. If you haven't already, please feel free to hit that big thumbs up button. We want to tickle YouTube in just the right way and make them push and promote what we are doing here. But as I say, without further ado, I'm going to slightly change up our news format for today. You let me know what you think of this new format, and here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, dogs and cats, the Carnivon Navy has been aggressively exploring the galactic Northwest. See, insert. This year, they stumbled upon a vestige of the old Zinti hegemony, the world of Parak. Citing the old enmity between their species, Gazinti ships destroyed the trespassing exploration freighter. Will the Carnivon stay off their lawn, or will the two navies begin fighting like, well, you know. And as I shuffle over, here's the next one. Oh, that's not working quite exactly how I wished. There we are. There we go. Lords of Kobol setting an example for the rest of the galactic powers. The independent polity of Kobol has agreed to join the Gorn hegemony. The world was suffering immense hardship until a generous foreign aid packet arrived from the Gorn and ended the famines plaguing the small world. Officials in both governments have released official statements that the greater powers should respect the wishes of these fractured empires and help them seek their own path forward without the need for conquest or destruction. I wonder who they're talking about. Is this the beginning of a new galactic era of peace? All we are saying is, give peace a chance. Barbarians at the gate. All right, let's get up to the barbarians. Come on now. Boop, 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 boop. I'm going to have to find a faster way to do this next time. But this is certainly an exciting... There we go. Oh, stop that. My goodness gracious. Okay, here we are. Barbarians at the gates. Reports have begun to come in that strange barbarian forces have been spotted at the periphery of civilized space. Military experts dismiss the ships as ramshackle contraptions hobbled together from civilian vessels. Others believe that Orions may be creating a secret armada of these many freighters, and they have abducted over the decades. Are we merely seeing civilians gone wild? That's a reality show. Or is it something more sinister afoot? Dun 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 dun. Here we go. Try to slide it in. Oh my goodness. Let's just maximize. There it is. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do this next time. It takes way too long to pull these things up, each at its own. There we go. What is that? Dear Lord, what is that thing? The latest juggernaut incursion into Tholian space revealed a dreadful new super weapon in possession of the mechanical menace. A massive ship known only as Goliath, a term coined by Galaxy's Today's own reporter, led a fleet that destroyed a Tholian base in Sector Whiskey 27. A single volley from Goliath's massive hyper phaser was enough to reduce a base station to rubble. What prompted the appearance of this terrible new engine of destruction? Could it be due to the recent launch of the Klingons' own supership, the battleship Invincible? And if so, can the galaxy afford the constant escalation in warship technology evident in every nation? The hunters become the hunted. Oh, come on now. Yes, gonna have to do this differently next time. If there is a next time. Oh, see, look at that. Does it every single time. Yes. Maybe pictures next time. All right, the hunters become the hunted, led by the new battleship Invincible. Klingon forces have launched a lightning invasion of Hunter's Pride. All planets in the breakaway polity have fallen, save for the homeworld itself. Though the brave defenders of the homeworld managed to drive off the invaders, they suffered losses that most experts believe they will be unable to replace. As destruction rains down on the Savannah and New Kennel, the citizens of Hunter's Pride can only hope for a miracle to spare them the same fate. Klingon officials could not be reached for official comment, but one junior officer, who will remain anonymous, was quoted saying, "How could you have a ship like the Invincible and not use it? That would be an affront of nature." And that, ladies and gentlemen, has been our galactic news. Oh! Yeah, so a little stumbling there with to be able to move the map around. Yes, maybe next time we'll do it a little differently. But what did you think about the slightly different screen, the scrolling breaking news, and, of course, the chitter-chatter as I was rolling through the various headlines? Yeah, what do you think? What do you say? And let me know how you like to make that different next time. All right. Very excited to see and discuss all the exciting things that are going in the map today. I see Captain Shadow has joined us. Let me jump on the chat real quick here. Captain Shadow, today is a good day to die. I couldn't say it better myself. Carl, a lightning invasion. You might even say a Blitzkrieg. You said it, not me. And away we go. All right, let's get rolling into the exciting and delighting news that is coming to us from the map. Ooh, baby, it's spicy out there. Let's roll into the map and show you what the latest and greatest is on Star Trek New Worlds. All right. Now, before we get started, let's do the thing. We're going to talk about EP and Fleet Cap right off the top and get rolling as to the exciting and delighting news that is coming to us from the edge of the galaxy. Running from the top of the list down to the bottom, we're starting with the Carnivan, who have cracked back across the 40 mark with 40.5 EP. The Federation, again, these are just the resources up for grabs, have fallen slightly to 36. The Gorn are now rocking at 61. They have pounded through the 60s door, and they are now firmly in the upper tier of the economies? of the economies of Star Trek New Worlds. The ISC are floating at 46 and a half. The Klingons have cracked 70 at now 71.5 with their Blitzkrieg attacks. I like that, Carl. Very nice. The Lyrans have 34 EP up for grabs. Who's going to grab it next? The Remans, 61.5. The Romulans are hovering at 50's door at 49 and a half. 49 and a half EP. And the Tholians are rocking 62.5. So just as a quick gander here, we now have 3 factions who have cracked the 60 mark, one the 70 mark. 71.5 is the Klingons. Number 2 on the economic clock or rankings is the Tholians at 62.5. The Remans are at 61.5, followed closely by the Gorn at 61. Quite a delta is developing across our divergent factions. All right, let's get rid of the EP and talk about fleet cap, baby. The Carnivons have capped out at 96. They are looking steady at 96 ships in the field with 249 attack, 408 defense. The Gorn have 86 ships out and about at 186 attack, 336 defense. The ISC still floating over 102 ships in their fleet with 334 attack, 491 defense. The Klingons are 112, knocking on 400's door with 397 attack factors, 443 defense. The Remans, still king of the hill with 162. Oh my God, good gracious me. 162 total ships out there. Kicking butt and taking names at 480 attack factor, 617 defense. The Romulans with a magic 77. I'll tell you why that number is important in a second. 77 ships out in the field, 247 attack, 393 defense. The Tholians are number 2 on the total fleet cap count with 122 ships, yet only an attack factor of 184 and a defense of 462. All right, let me tell you why the 77 is a magic number for moi. 77 is the peak of punk, the height of disco, the year Star Wars came out, and the year this guy decided to say hello, big world, in the middle of a blizzard in Ottawa, Canada. Oh, yeah. I love 77. It's a great, fantastic, wonderful year, but I might be biased. All right, let's roll into some exciting news that's coming around with the Carnivon. All right, let's we're as zoomed in as we can get here, but you can see, as per our discussion at the very beginning of the news, the dogs have found the cats, and now only chaos will prevail. You can see here that Olympus fleet. Let's take a look at Kazinti. Where's the Kazinti Olympus fleet? I'll find it eventually. I mean, I do have my glasses on, so it makes it a little bit easier. There we go. Olympus fleet. Oh, my goodness. This is an interesting combo of ships. Woo. Okay. So, this is interesting. Oh, wow. Okay. So, this is a mix of M and Y ships. So you can see here, obviously, the Y era Dreadnought. This is a YDN 6.8 ship. Not 1, but 2 CAs, cruisers, M. So these are M era cruisers, interesting to note, that are 6.8s. So same attack and defense factors as the YDN. Interesting. So CAMs, 2 of them, and the YDN. They have 2 strike cruisers. Now, normally strike cruisers I think of as being Y era, but you can see there is a Y CS. So these CSs are M era. And you can see they are a 5 attack, 7 defense ship. Interesting. The CLM, light cruiser M era, 2 4.6 ships. You have 3 frigates, M era frigates, at a total of 912. And look at that. 2 scouts. 2 scouts. Wow. That's going to be interesting. Now, they are supported by a Y fleet of a YCA, a YCS, a YCL, and 3 YFFs. Long story short, this is not a small fleet. Not only is it not a small fleet, but it's not something that you can just hop, skip, and jump over, although they might be able to go around. This is going to provide a very interesting challenge for the Carnarvon should they decide to engage. I'm very interested to see what they are going to do with that. Now, let's just take a quick look at what they have in and around the area. They have a YSR. And they have 3 YCLs. Oh, here we are. Topaz Fleet. Here's the big boy. 2 tugs, 2 YFFs, and Topaz Fleet. Let's take a look. Le Carnarvon and Topaz. All right, so Topaz Fleet, interestingly enough, is, I would not say that it is equal to the fleet they are facing. Because, first of all, let's take a quick look. You will note here, maybe it's hard for you to see, the Kzinti faction is a medium planet. So that's the big half over the little half. Medium planets have a 4 income, 2 when they're devastated. You can see here that they have a YDK over top of that planet, and they have YPGBs. Now it's a 5 attack, 10 defense, which means there's 5 of them because YPGBs have 1 attack, 2 defense. So that's 5 YPGBs. There we go. Y aeroplanetary ground bases that are there. Each planetary ground base brings 1 point of EW to a battle, giving it a maximum of a 2. I mean, in this case, potentially a 2 die shift on any EW battles. Not to mention they have scouts. So there's that. Then there's the M and Y ships in their fleet. And then you face that against Topaz. So Topaz has a YDN. Great command platform. Interesting to note that the YDN from the Carnarvon is slightly less potent than the Kzinti one. They have a YCC and YCA. Again, more akin to the attack factors of the YCS or the YCA of the Kzinti. You have some drone bombardment ships, cruisers here, 4.5s, which are, again, very similar to the CLMs of the Kzinti. Drone bombardment destroyer, which, again, I would say maybe akin to the YCLs. It's the closest comparison. And then a bunch of YDDs, 3 of them, and 9 YFFs. So you balance that against the total attack factors and basically the firepower that the Kzinti can bring, plus their EW, plus their defense factor. Yeah, I think the Kzinti are not going to be taken out by this fleet. Now, let's just take a look at First Reserve. First Reserve. Carnarvon Reserves, First Reserves. Here I was thinking there might be something exciting there. Basically, just exploration freighters with an escort frigate. So nothing exciting, nothing too exciting there. This poses a very interesting challenge for the Carnarvon. What are they going to do? How are they going to deal with this? How are they going to deal with the challenge of the upstart Kzinti, providing them a little bit of a speed bump in their pursuit of the Lyrans? And of course, that's a particular note because the Gorn have been very productive. Notice how they've adopted the Cobalt, the Lords of Cobalt, the colony here. And what's interesting, so you'll notice this resource here is white with blue dots. That means it's neutral. So essentially, if the Gorn want it, they're going to have to go put a ship on it to take it. So they don't have it initially, but they will have it in about 2 seconds because they'll just send the CL over there and or something from Mobile Fleet over there. Interesting to note they've encountered a slight hiccup, perhaps, to what they're doing with the Orions being in the way. So that's an interesting little issue. So you've got the Orions that are there. The Gorn have been very effective at adopting and bringing into the fold the Cobalt Alliance. And yeah, very interesting. So the question will be, I will be watching for the Gorn to see whether they now consolidate their effort and move north to deal with the Far Stars fleet, or will they move south and try and explore, take out this Fog of War Hex stuff and get in here? We shall see. I'll be very interested to see how that evolves. Let's take a look at I will move my head to the other side real quick. let's just take a look and see what's going on from the Riemann side before we dive into the Fed space. So the Riemann side are continuing to do the exploration, trying to knock out these fog of war hexes so that they can get into here, because they have a base station right here, and this base station will provide them logistical support to get to Lazarus Industries, which is this developing planet right here. So once they can get there, it'll be exciting, because then they'll probably bring in Rykon and Acropolis fleet here and jump in and start taking some territory, because that, of course, is the goal of the Riemanns. So if we look at this from the perspective of the topmost Lyran faction currently being pursued and explored by the Riemanns, we have the central Lyran faction, which is being pursued not only by the Carnivon with their little hiccup at the Kzinti, but also the Gorn, who are being quite successful. But let's discuss real quick what's going on with La Fédération. So you'll see here, let me just take away the ships real quick. You can see that there is a colony here, another colony here, and Hunter's Pride. So these two colonies are, yeah, there we are. Coffee grinds in my mouth. These two colonies are former Federation outposts, now under the jurisdiction of the Klingon Empire. And we can see that the Klingons are finishing up a base this turn in the hex of the wormhole. Why are we doing that? Provide us extended supply to basically everything we need to get to. Because the going through the wormhole, obviously you need a base on this side. You don't need a base on this side, but this base will extend supply without issue to basically within a 4 hex radius here, assuming supply 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way around here. And then, of course, it connects to here, the Savannah, and then the Savannah connects to this resource, and then potentially into the Sol Confederacy. But let's bring back the ships here real quick, and we can see what's happened here. So the Joint Task Force Alpha, what is that and what's going on? Well, Joint Task Force Alpha is the name of the fleet that initially went through the wormhole and fought its way. If you haven't seen that, the battle was unveiled, done in real time in our last live stream. Please go check that out. But here you can see the what do you call them? The rear guard of that fleet, the D4C and the D4, guarding the tug, which is currently building a YBS in this hex. Other than that, you have these battleship fleets, which were used to be able to pop this up. Let's pull those up and see what's what. So we have the B10 battle group. So the first is Invincible. For all those of you who love the Princess Bride, you know what I'm doing. Where are we here? Insatiable. And the last one, Inviolable. Oh, no, we don't have Inviolable. Insatiable, Invincible. What's the other one? Invulnerable. All right, let's get Invulnerable. I think it was just about what worked best from... There we are. Okay. So these 3 battle groups are the 3 in play. Invulnerable and this one here. So these 2 are in this hex right now. Invincible had attacked Task Force Cosnet. And Task Force Cosnet, if you will recall, is the battle fleet that had been defending the wormhole. So again, check out last week's live stream. In the early part of that live stream, we go through the battle sequence in real time, and you can see how many ships were crippled, damaged, and otherwise beaten up. But now, after they retreated back to their homeworld and had an opportunity to defend their homeworld, this is all they have left. They've got a YCC, 2 YCAs, and 3 prime teams, 3 ships holding back the bulk of the Klingon fleet. Now, these, as I understand it, this is probably not represented properly on the map. These F4s in this hex, and Daniel will have to let me know, all these F4s in Invincible are crippled. All these ships are crippled. The B4B is not. When it comes to invulnerable, there are no crippled ships in this hex, as I understand it. There is one crippled E4M here. There had been one E4M that was crippled in this hex, but it was within supply range and retroed to the other side of the wormhole. We'll see that in a moment. So now, at this point, within striking distance of Hunter's Pride, you have one D6M, one D6EM, which is the exploration ship. You have 4 E4Ms. You have 3 D6Ms with 9 E4Ms. So 9 plus 4 is 13, plus the 3 D6Ms, plus the B4B. Yeah, you've got more than enough ships to be able to take out those 3 Y cruisers and take out Cosnet. So while we weren't able to wipe them all out in one turn, which had been the goal, yeah, it was a close fight. Interesting to note, I will share with you as I pull up the battle email. What hex was that? That was Foxtrot 16. So the battle started with I don't know, can I, hold on, maybe I can share this a little differently. Gotta love doing it on the fly. Always exciting. Okay. So I'm just pasting this into the document we previously had, and I'm going to, yeah, can I do this? Nope, wrong one. Whoop, there we go. All right, so these are the ships that were in the battle force. You can see that there was 1 B4B and 8 F4s. Hunter's Pride had defending 5 YPGBs, which again is a 5 attack, 10 defense. There was a Y convoy in there, no big deal. There was a YTG, that's a 2 attack, maybe it's a 1 attack, 5 defense. YCCs, as you saw, 4 6s, 2 YCAs, 4 6s, and then cripples. A YCA crippled, a YCL crippled, a YDD crippled, 5 YFFs crippled, and 3 prime teams. At the end of this battle, these are the casualties that we received. Boop. There we go. All right, so Klingon losses. We lost 1 F4 and 7 of the F4s were crippled. Hunter's Pride lost all their planetary ground bases, a YCA, a YTG, basically all the crippled ships from above. So their 5 FFs, the DD, the CL, the Tug, and the CA all destroyed, and then the YPGBs. I had written in my battle orders to retreat once all my F4s were crippled because I want to keep that B4B pristine, and knowing that I had other ships in the area that I could use to go back in the second round and wipe them out, that was the objective. So that's what we did. We have 3 ships remaining in the hex, and that is what we're going to go in and destroy next turn. Yes. All right, so that's what's going on there when it comes to the fleets in and around this area. Now, let's take a quick look. We've got the ISC coming through here. We got Judge, Second, and Truth Fleet. Let's take a quick look at what are they doing in the Balkans. Okay, so we'll pull up. There we are. Language, good thing. Is Second Fleet. That's this guy right here. So you got a YCC, 2 CLs, and a total of 9 YDDs. Interesting. So these guys are working their way to get down here. Best of luck. The named echelons. So we got Judgment Fleet. So Judgy. Don't be judgy. Judgment Fleet is a YCC prime team with a total of 4 YCLs. And of course, sitting there is Truth Fleet. YDN, YCC, YCA, a bunch of CLs, 6 of them, Commando Cruiser, and 2 YDDs. Interesting. So as the permanently paranoid Klingons, I'm looking at that going, what are you going to do with that, Paul? But ISC player. But I'm sure we've been playing very nice and cooperating and collaborating very nicely with our 4 Powers Alliance. So I'm sure everything will go nicely. But it's just going to be interesting to see who can get to what, when, and where, and how that's all going to pan out. Are the ISC going to go like beeline for the Soul Confederacy? And if so, how are they going to do that? just as a quick reminder, I'll just take away the bases real quick. These are the resources in the Sol Confederacy. You can see there's a resource here, a developing planet here, colony down south, and then these two resources here. And then, of course, in the Sol Confederacy as the capital, the Fed capital has these following resources. They have a major planet and 2 minor planets. So from our perspective as players, that's 5 EP for the major and then 3 EP each for those minors. So that's a total of 11 EP, not including the attitude adjustment that you can get. But yeah, that's a pretty good EP boost if things work out for whoever decides or ends up grabbing it. Interesting to note, I didn't realize they're building a YBS there. Interesting. Probably learning from the Hunter's Pride kerfuffle. So we'll see how that goes. But without further ado, let's begin the Galactic Tour with Big Red. Ladies and gentlemen, Big Red, this is the Tholian player, is living large and playing games with all the exciting players in the universe. Let's start with the back end of their territory. Up near the border here, you will notice a couple things. Let's take away the ships real quick. They are building bases closer to the edge of their explored space. Perfectly par for the course. However, what's interesting to note here is that these guys are doing this while dealing with all the other business on their eastern front. You will see they have a sun snake in the back end of their territory. And if you take away the ships and bases, you'll note there are no real planets sort of in close proximity to where the sun snake is. This is G24. Let's bring back the ships real quick. You'll see, well, I suppose 3 hexes away. So they'll want to have ships and bases in close proximity. As mentioned before in my own experience, you are going to need to have ships in that vicinity to stop the Sun Snake, because as this player, who was previously a GM in another game, used the Sun Snake on me, if you don't have ships in that hex and the Sun Snake comes a-knocking, the base itself can't do anything to stop the Sun Snake from going into the sun and causing it to go supernova, taking out your planet. So very interesting and exciting to see how that's going to go. The Derelict, size class 2 Derelict, still unrecovered in the back end of their territory. Interesting to note. As we walk around, we'll notice that, let's see here, Tholian Diplomat. We've got Home Fleet. Let's take a look at Tholian Home Fleet. I am so curious to see when they are going to start rolling out M ships. Okay, so still a bunch of Y-era ships. You got Y-era cruisers and commando ships. Okay, good. That's Home Fleet. Okay. We roll around. We've got 4th Fleet down here sitting on top of the G wormhole, the November wormhole, and the Whiskey wormhole. Let's look at 4th. 4th on the Gulf wormhole has 2 YPCs, as we can see, heavily defended. No sarcasm required. The 3rd Fleet is sitting there with 2 YCCs. So they have reinforced that. There you go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 YPCs, 2 DDs, and 2 Y-era cruisers. Certainly not enough, I think, to stop coming through the wormhole, but something for sure. The W-era wormhole has a 2nd Fleet and a bunch of cripples there. Let's take a look at Tholian's 2nd Fleet. 2nd Fleet. Okay, CCs, a little bit more in the DD front, 4 of them, and then, of course, 4 YPCs. With the crippled ships repaired, I'm sure that'll make that a more substantive roadblock. Let's take a look at 1st and 312th Battle Squadron? Battle Squadron. So 1st Fleet, Tholian 1st Fleet. Boom, look at that. YCC, 2 YDDs, and 5 YPCs. I think this is a precautionary move to not only protect their YDK, but also to just, maybe prevent the Klingons from going crazy. Because they, Klingons tend to be a little nutty. 312 Battle Squadron. 312 Battle Squadron, that's these guys right down here. They are preparing an assault on the Kzinti hegemony. They have 2 Y-era cruisers, a total of 12 YDDs. What? No. That's okay. That's a slightly, let's reorganize that. That's 1, 2, okay. So you've got, there we go. That reorganizes that. So you got a total of 6 DDs, and a total of 12 YPCs. There we are. So that's that organized. So that basically makes it a highly defensive fleet, not great for the attack, where you consider that in contrast to the Fed 10th fleet, which is potentially what they might go try and stomp. The 10th fleet has a YCC, YTG. So you can see the YTG is a 1-4. My mistake. I thought it was, I think I said it was a 1-5. It's a 1-4. You've got the 3 YCAs with 4-6 apiece, a DD, and a total of 6 YFFs. With their 5 planetary ground bases and the YT, the Y era space dock, I don't see that fleet anyway being able to take out the 312th battle squadron that is taking out 10th fleet. I don't see that happening. But you never know. Things might change. But let's talk about the exciting stuff that's happening on their border, because goodness gracious me, take away the ships real quick. Somebody took out a base station. 1, 2, 3, 4. They don't even have supply to that starbase anymore. Interesting to note. So we've got a couple YCPCs here, which are the tug, utilitarian tug ships. You've got Vengeance Fleet for the Gorn and 101st Battle Squadron for the Tholians. Tholian Battle Squadron, let's pull that up again. You can see here in the top, that's what they've got there. Hey, come on. There we are. So we've got 3 YCs, so those are Y-era cruisers. You've got a total of 8 destroyers and 10 YPCs. And then, of course, they've got that errant little Riemann ship there. That battle squadron is not insignificant for the Tholians, but certainly nothing compared to what Brachy Fleet has, and we'll discuss that in just a moment. Vengeance Fleet from the Gorn. Whoops, wrong one. Vengeance Fleet from the Gorn. There we go. Vengeance Fleet is the middle one here that you will note. It has a YDN, a YCL, a total of 3 DDs, an FF, a commando cruiser or commando ship, and prime team. Again, not a very large offensive firepower force. Let's compare those two, as far as numbers of ships, they were certainly in the double digits, but collectively their attack factors are relatively low. By example, if we look at the 101st Battle Squadron from the Tholians, their total attack factor, if you put it all together, 9. What is that? 8 times 2, 16. So that's 25. Plus, and I know you can't put them all together, but these are 1.5 ships, and there's 10 of them, so it's 15. So that's a total of 40 attack factors with the 42 attack factors, including that Riemann ship. 42 attack factors combined, not including what they can put together in a battle line. 42 combined. Brachy Fleet, by comparison, minor fleets and Brachy Fleet has 15 in the frigates. There's 3 destroyers. Let me just widen this up so it's a little bit easier to see. So we've got 3 times 5, 15. 3 times 6, 18. So that alone is 33. Plus the CL, which adds another 8. So that's 41. And then the DNA, which is this attack dreadnought or assault dreadnought. And so what was it? 41 plus 18. Well, that puts us at 49. And 59 attack. And the thing about this is that they can put that all in one battle line. They can put it all in one battle line, and the DN is a mauler, meaning it can target ships with 18 damage per round, meaning that even though the Tholians can create pinwheels, that ship alone can potentially, and I have to check it out, destroy a pinwheel in one shot. Wow. That's crazy. Jeez Louise. Okay, well, yeah, the Juggernauts are not joking around. And, of course, if you want to assault that hex, you still have to deal with the Starbase, which has 36 attack and defense on its own, plus the 59 attack factors of the... Jesus. Wow. That's crazy. So that's 95 attack factors in that hex. Boom. Watch out. Watch out. Okay, well, that's what's happening on the Tholian front. And as we scroll down here, you'll see that there's an Orion base here with a CAM, a couple of their ships here, and yeah, the combined forces of the of the Gorn and the Tholians took out a couple of battle stations. We'll see what happens after that. Let's scroll down to the Gorn. A couple of interesting developments for the Gorn. First of all, let's take a look at Lasathlete. Just because I'm noticing I forgot it was there. Lasathlete is a CA, CL, and a DD. So the CA is a 12 attack, 12 defense ship with Mauler capabilities. That's the little plus sign there. Plus the CL, and then, of course, the crippled DD. So that fleet, let's take a look at Gorn Home Fleet, because that's what's there. Gorn Home. Well, aren't they just beaten up? So this base only can repair 2 points of damage, so certainly not going to repair all this. The DDs here there's 5 of them, which is 10 total attack factors, plus the YDN, which is 6. Like, I struggle to see how the Gorn aren't going to get their asses handed to them in the next battle. If Lasathlete is looking to go out in a blaze of glory, they'll attack this hex, and they will most likely destroy everything in the hex. Well, maybe not everything, but they will certainly cause a lot of damage, possibly taking out the base or killing a lot of Gorn ships. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I'll be very curious to see what the strategy is for the Juggernauts. Do they have ships to waste, i.e. waste a destroyer, a cruiser, light cruiser, and that destroyer? Or are they going to try and retreat by, moving to, let's say, here, taking out the YSR, and then retreating back to a base that we can't see, which is probably right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there's probably a star base right here. So maybe they attack and retro to Zulu 29. We'll see how that works. That could be a strategy. And if they do that, and maybe take out the Y convoy on the way, I don't see them stopping them, the Gorn being able to stop them. What else we got here? So the big takeaway from the Gorn, other than the fact that they cracked 60 for their EP, they are now at 61 total income. Woo-hoo-hoo! That's what I'm talking about. But also, check this out. CAM. Now, I looked at the Gorn 6th Fleet here. Gorn 6th Fleet. All Y ships. But they have now officially produced their first M-era cruiser. A 6 attack, 8 defense ship. Definitely in the ballpark of what's out there as far as good ships on the attack and defense front. By example, the Klingon D6 is the early M-era cruiser for the Klingons. It's a 7-7. 7 attack, 7 defense. So this one, by the Gorn, slightly less attack, but 1 more defense. So it's a more robust ship, just slightly less attack. That's all. Pretty good ship. Pretty good ship. Whoa! Ladies and gentlemen, another coffee has been fired. The Juggernauts have fired a coffee. Let's take a big swig. My throat is starting to get a little dry. I'm going to need your coffee to moisten it up and get us going. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking to wet this whistle, then please feel free to hit that link above my head. Go to coffee.com/New Worlds, and you too can fire a coffee in our general direction and get your disruptor fired through the roof. All right. So thank you to the Juggernauts. We got some more interesting chitter chatter about that. Okay. CAM. The Gorns have an M-era cruiser. That's particularly interesting. All right. Other than that, not much else going on in their world. Their biggest thing, they launched their first M-era cruiser, and of course they took Cobol through the wormhole, and so they're doing quite well. I mean, they are the 4th largest economy, but within sort of competition distance of the Tholians, the Remans, and the Gorn. Like, all 3 of those guys are hovering within 1 EP of each other. That's huge. That's huge. Yeah, that's really big, especially considering the Gorn, had started this game, and it's sort of a huge deficit. Like, they have been steadily incrementally creeping their way through this entire game and are now like very much in the top tier of the pack. It's amazing to see. All right, let's take a look at the ROM-U lens. Okay, so you can see they are continuing to explore sort of into this space. Very interesting to note. And then we got Ravati fleet here on the base station. So let's take another quick look at that fleet. That is the bottom one here. You can see it's a light cruiser, 2 destroyers, and 3 FFs. So that's what's sitting there on that base, watching these Romulans skirt by. Interesting to note, they're building a YDK, the Romulans that is, right here, with 15th Legion. Let's go take a look at what 15th Legion is. Hello, Romulans. 15th Legion is the bottom one here. You can see that's a YPB. That's a survey cruiser for them. Y-era. Y-era survey cruisers. So what do we got here? We got a frigate, 2 frigates, research and development team, and a snipe along with that survey ship. So, I mean, I'm going out on a limb here. They're going to really push to try and get some exploration here. They might even go up here to try and discover that starbase that's up here and push in further to find what's probably a starbase right here. So they're going to try and get into that sort of close-in area. I think the homeworld is in Charlie 28, which is right here. So if that's Charlie 28, there'll be a starbase here. There'll be a starbase here. And we'll see how that goes. So they're pushing in sort of into the inner circle here. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to the fleet here and what the Juggernauts do or don't do in defense of their territory. All right. But they are continuing to explore this space, which I very much appreciate because, again, go ahead and explore Klingon space. I appreciate your contribution to the Klingon Empire. Very nice. As we were talking about, we have the Sea People, so to speak, as in the collapse of the Bronze Age. We have folks from the edge of the galaxy popping in with this auxiliary battle cruiser you can see here with a 9 attack. Interesting to note because when you look at the Romulan 13th Legion, they are nothing. So we got 11th, 12th, 13th is a YWB with a W-era escort. Okay, that's going to be a problem. Then they've got 16th and 7th and 9th. So let's go to 16th Legion. 16th is the first one on this list. You'll see it's that exploration ship with a S-era frigate escort, so that's nothing. 19th Legion. Let's take another look at that. Romulan, I should have just stayed on that one. 19th Legion, so the second, that's exploration freighter with another W-era escort, so no military force of any kind right here. 7th and 9th Legion, the other legions in the area. Let's see, so 7th would be, that's 10, 9, 8, 7. Oh, okay, so we got a W-era, sorry, a M-era War Eagle, which is good, and an M-era frigate, which is, that's 7th Legion, and then 9th Legion, which is this one here, another M-era War Eagle with a snipe. So 2 War Eagles, snipes. That's more than enough to be able to take out this battle cruiser. But, like I say, it's interesting that, considering what's in this area, what's going on there. Now, don't forget, there's Rolandis 8th and 6th Legion here. So let's just take a quick look. Rolandis is a survey ship, M-era survey ship with a snipe. And what else we got? That's Rolandis 6th and 8th. Oh, okay. So those are the other ships in that legion. So 6 being this one and 8th being this one. So again, lots of War Eagles with escort snipes. So it's good. So they've got more than enough ships in the area to be able to take out that visitor, shall we say. But it'll be very interesting to see how that goes. The rest of the boot, of the Italian boot here, you can see they've got some YDK, nice YDK here. So many wormholes. For the faction that won't explore wormholes, they have quite a few if they ever want to sort of leverage that. So interesting. So nothing much going on in the toe of the boot. Yeah, nothing much going on in the toe of the boot. You got a couple of wormholes here. And you see commercial convoys continuing to go back and forth between the Klingon and Romulan empires. And that's pretty much it. that's pretty much it. Nothing much more to say about the Romulans. Let's continue to look. They've got the stack of ships on their homeworld, which is primarily their conversions from Y to M era. First, Second, and Third Legion. We can see here on the Romulan First Star Legion. Look at that. King Eagles. Love it. War Eagle and a bunch of W's that Y airships are still converting. We got Second and Third. Let's take a look at those. Legion, Second Star Legion. Again, look at that. King Eagles. Like those. I like those ships. A couple War Eagles and more ships they're going to convert. What else we got here? We got Third. So Third Legion. Boom. So those are still Y airships. So yeah, you can see like they're really doing a lot of good conversion there from Y era Warbirds to M era War Eagles, and then from M era War Eagles to looks like King Eagles. That's what they're converting to. So that's really cool to see. All right. Well, not to be biased again, but I do have another exciting bit of news to unveil. The GM, I think, just did a double hit here with the red fleet counter. It just happens he put 2 of them down. But let me show you what's in Red Fleet, because it is a significant milestone for the Klingon Empire. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I would like to introduce to you the D7. Ladies and gentlemen, the D7 has hit the street. The D7 is an 8 attack, 7 defense ship. It is the D6 on steroids. It is new. It is improved. It is the Katinga class. Watch out, baby. The D7 is here. If you are fans of Axanar, you will note that the prelude to Axanar talks about the unveiling of the D7 and how the unveiling of the D7 was the major milestone marker and how they were going to really give it to the Federation. So here we are. The D7 is now in play. 8 attack, 7 defense. It is one of the best or better ships in the Klingon Navy. Not to be discounted as well. Note the presence of not 1, not 2, but 3 F5s. We just talked about before the attack that happened in Federation space with the F4s. So the F4s are the destroyer class hull. And as you can see here, I've got F5s. F5s are the M era destroyer for the Klingons, and they are a 4 attack, 4 defense ship. So they are pretty decent for what they are. And of course, with the Klingons, we can build lots of them. So we got 3 4Ms, 3 F5s, and 1 D7. You might say this is a full build cycle. Note the total attack factors that come out of that build cycle. That is not 12, not 24, but 32 total attack factors that hit the street in every build cycle. So very interesting to note. That doesn't include, of course, any bigger, badder ships that may be coming out later. But that's what we got going on. You'll note that Red Fleet is pre-positioned here on the border to be able to maybe make a move on neutral Siri. And based on the incursions in the northern area, just, making sure that there's no inclination or desire to maybe do something in a naughty way when it comes to moving Romulan ships over to the Klingon side. So I don't want to say that the Carnarvon experience earlier in the game made me overly cautious. However, at this point, I'm a little overly cautious. So now that the Romulans are testing their waters by pushing into this territory, we're just reinforcing the border a little bit to make sure that there's no issue and that there's no incursion into our territory. And of course, when Siri gets taken by Red Fleet this coming turn, I just want to make sure that there's no disproportionate reaction to what it is that we're doing. But as was shared earlier, 2 episodes ago, there was a role play that was exchanged whereby it was clearly communicated to the Romulans that Siri would be becoming Klingon. And so we'll see how that goes and how that evolves going forward. So it'll be very interesting to see how this goes. That's not all, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, please note that this fleet, I can't even pronounce that. Let's look it up in the minor fleets. What are we calling that thing? It's Elnath? Sure, Elnath. So one of the things, what are we looking at here? We've got a CL 2 DDs, and 3 FFs. But what the hell is this? A JD3. Well, if you remember, in our last live stream, I shared with you a role play that occurred between the Juggernauts and the Klingons. And effectively, a D3 was captured by the Juggernauts. This is that D3, Borgified, as the GM said. They have amalgamated Klingon technology or upgraded Klingon technology to make it a Juggernaut version of a D3. And as you can see, it is now a straight 7 ship. Very interesting. And they are using it against us. In this last turn, there was a ship that was transiting within reaction range, and the Juggernauts attacked it. Very interesting. One thing I will note, though, and a question I have for the GM, as it was reported to me in the battle email, the Juggernauts reacted to my movement and moved into that hex. If that is the case, should they not be in that hex? And if memory serves, let me just look at the battle emails. That was in JJ30. So JJ30, Juggernaut has returned. However, it looks okay. No, that was an attack. And then what was the reaction? Sorry, I'm looking for it. I feel like there was a reaction fleet, or maybe it was just that one attack. No, I guess it was just that one attack. My mistake. So I was attacked by the Juggernauts, and I had a D4C and 2 F4s. The D4C retreated, the F4s were destroyed, and then, so here's where it was. Yeah, so the D4C moved, and when the D4C moved, there was a reaction movement into that hex. So what happened? What happened there? Yeah, I guess I've lost that email. So anyways, there was a D4C in Juliet. I guess it would have been in Kilo 31. And it started to move. And when it moved, the Juggernauts reacted to it and took out my D4C. So if they took out my D4C, should they not be in that hex, which I would believe is in Juliet 31, I would expect, because I think my D4C went this way. And so it would have, there should be, I believe, Juggernauts in this hex. I will have to go hunting for the email, but I won't do that here with you right now. All right, let's continue along here. We've got so North Fleet, Green Fleet, D4E down here. The Juggernauts basically are sniping. They are cutting. They are whittling away my Klingon forces in this area. And I will say, I'm getting pissed. It's time to take the battle to the Juggernauts and let them know who's boss. And there's another role-playing aspect to it. I will share next week when I write the role play and do it with the GM, and I can share that with you. So very interesting. That's pretty much it from the Klingon Empire. We do have a research and development team on the homeworld here, and we have an inbound research and development team and diplomat from the Carnarvon. So they'll show up, and then we'll swap it out, and the YDD will head back to Carnarvon space, taking the Klingon R&D team with them. So that's pretty interesting. All right, let's take a second and spice things up. Jump into the chat and see what's going on your end. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the chat. Yes, this is where you get to share your thoughts, sling some shade, and let us know what's going on. All right, let's jump in after the second coffee from the Juggernauts. Paul says, what about Romulan Juliet wormhole? Let's see here. Romulan Juliet wormhole. Where is that? Where is the Juliet wormhole? Let's take away ships, take away bases. The Romulan Juliet wormhole, by the way, is the one that goes to the Carnarvon homeworld. And the question was, what about that wormhole? Well, let me just quickly switch over there. You can see right here is the Juliet wormhole. We have a troop transport with 4 G factors and a 4th and 5th Legion. So Romulan, 5th Legion, War Eagle, a command bird, 6 snipes and a Scout Eagle. That Scout Eagle is going to be clutch. And then Romulan 5th Fleet, or 5th Legion. Oh, is that what I just looked at? My goodness. 4th Legion then. Isn't that what the other one is? Yeah, okay, so 4th. Oh, you got the Vulture and then Kingbirds. And, oh, okay. So there is, I don't want to say that there is a growing... I don't want to say that the Romulans are getting geared up to attack the Carnivon, but that wouldn't be outside the realm of opportunity for them, which I find interesting, considering they're not wormhole. They don't like traveling wormholes. So how are they going to do that? If they go through the wormhole, oh, yeah. If the Romulans go through the wormhole, 1, do they have the technology right now to be able to supply themselves to the other side? We don't know. 2, if they do go through and assume that they don't have supply, they're going to have to kick the crap out of the Carnivon in a single go in order to be able to have supply on the other side. Yeah, that's interesting. I'll be very interested to see what the Romulans do there, because the collection of ship types there suggest a planetary assault. Oh, that's so interesting. So interesting. Okay. I love it. Let's see here. D7 stats are good, but not as good as what's in Triton Fleet, he says. Triton Fleet. Riemann. Triton Fleet. Oh. Oh. Damn. Well, we will have to talk about that in a second when we get to the Riemanns. But yes, I see what you are talking about, and we will have to discuss. Damn. That's a sweet looking ship. I love it that it's a Klingon based hull. Ooh. Very nice. Okay. D7 says Captain Shadow. Yes. All Klingon ships are cannon fodder for the Empire. Fair. That's fair enough. Now it's us shenanigans. It's us shenanigans. Klingon shenanigans. Well, we'll see. Klingon guile, of course. Daniel, you can retreat after a battle even if you have won and wiped out the enemy. Oh, okay, so that's what happened. Okay, fair. Klingon guile. Yes. So interesting. Interesting. Okay, so yeah. Well, like I say, Klingons are doing their business. Lots of exciting things, and like I say, an interesting sort of dynamic and disposition of ships wherever everything is. There's obviously border tensions with the Romulans with regards to their aggressive exploration. And I imagine that me moving ships onto the border with that area is going to cause, again, a tension. And then, of course, the wormhole faction, or oh, God, I can't talk. The wormhole factor, because the Carnivons can transit them without hindrance. What can the Romulans do? Based on their troop disposition there, it makes me think that they've got wormhole tech. I don't know that they've transited a wormhole. They must have, though. They must have. And are they researching? I feel like they've researched wormholes. I can only assume, if I'm the Carnivons, I have to assume that the Romulans have wormhole tech, at least the ability to be able to transit them, and then have supply on the other side. So if I am assuming that, what does that mean? I think the Romulans present a clear and present threat to the Carnivon, and the Carnivon have to address it. The question is, how will they address it? Will they just beef up their defenses, or will they make a first strike? Because right now, on that hex, And we'll talk about it when we go back to the map, when we talk about the Carnivon turn. But they've got a YDK there, and they've got enough ships to cause issues. So the Carnivon would need to start deploying some pretty significant assets through that wormhole to cause issue. Yeah, that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting to see. And then how's that going to play out with the Carnivon's current sort of effort to try and get Lyr in space? And then, of course, their Kzinti little hiccup and all that other stuff. Very interesting. Very interesting. He says. Okay. Lastly here, what do we got? Oh, we got more chitter chatter. Paul says, ROMs transited a wormhole into Hydron space very early. That's right. Of course they did. And then, of course, once they did that, their research would have started on wormhole tech. The question then is, were they doing R&D on wormholes and then, of course, putting points into it? So if that's the case, yeah, Romulans transited wormholes early, and I would argue probably have wormhole tech slam dunked. So... And that would tie in with the disposition of ships that they're putting on that wormhole, which means, yeah. Okay, so this is going to be interesting. We're going to go to the Carnivon in just a sec. Okay, they have the beginning of the game. They have at the beginning of the game one of the first. Yes. Okay, let's jump into the map and talk about the Carnies because, there's a ship there I didn't notice. Let's take a look. All right, I'm going to move my head because it is very much in the way of what I want to show you. What's that yellow thing there? It's a special attack cruiser? I can't remember what an SAC is. Anyone out there know what an SAC is? Put it in the chat. Let me know. But SAC has popped up on the edge of... Carnivon space, and this is not the first ship like this. So we've got one of these ships, we've got one on the other side. The question, I mentioned it earlier, is this the sea people of New Worlds, in the sense of the sea people in history are according to documentation of the collapse of the Bronze Age, which was I'd have to look up what it was, what year it was BC, but there was this marauding group of people who came through the Mediterranean and basically sacked a bunch of cities and pillaged territory around the Mediterranean. And the question was, where did these people come from? They don't know where. But these people, sacked Egypt, Alexandria. They attacked the Levant. There was a whole area that they attacked and conquered. And so... is this the equivalent? We have raiders basically from the edge of space coming into our territories, and what's going to happen? How are we going to hold them back? And is this the beginning of a tide? And what's that going to look like? So very interesting to see. Small auxiliary cruiser, he says. Okay, George, thank you for that. So very interesting. So small auxiliary cruiser, that's going to be more than enough to be able to deal with that frigate and potentially the YFES. So interesting. With no attack factors, that YFES will be dead next turn if the SAC attacks it, which I imagine it would. And then, of course, the YFF is going to have to do something about it. Interesting. Okay. Let's take a look at the Carnivon homeworld. You can see the Carnivon homeworld right here with the Juliet wormhole. We've got a couple crippled things. Let's take a look at their capital system. We can see that their capital system has a major, a capital, minor, and a colony. We have 7 planetary ground bases, so good defense. Not only a YDK, but a YBS over the main planet, but not much on the minor and colony, just 2 planetary ground bases each. They do have in that hex home fleet, so let's look at Carnivon home fleet, remembering they are one of the larger fleets in the game, the Carnivons overall. You can see you got the Hydron DN manning the stations at 6-8. You got a YCC, a couple of YCLs, drone bombardment destroyers, 5 of them. A total of 8 YFFs, drone bombardment cruiser, and some prime teams. So this is certainly not nothing, and will be more than enough to be able to cause some significant Romulan casualties should the Romulans decide to transit that wormhole. However, it's not enough. If the Romulans if you look at what the Romulans have on their homeworld, let's postulate with me here for a sec. Let's get rid of this over here. Okay. Let me do a little thought experiment with you. Because if I was the Romulans, this is what I would be doing. Okay. We have second, first, and third. Let's pull those up just to demonstrate. First Star Legion. Second Star Legion. And third Star Legion. Let's assume from an M era perspective, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 movement. And whenever you convert something, just like a repair, you can strat move it. Okay, so if you're going to strat move something in the turn that you do it, you could strat move it straight to this wormhole. There's a number of ships here that are already upgraded. So the King Eagles, by example, they're not going to go any higher. The War Eagles could get further converted, and definitely the YWBs can be. The SNMs can be converted to SNBs. Not sure how much value there is in that, but they can be. And then, of course, you got all these Y ships. So here's what I'm thinking. If you take the YWBs, convert them into War Eagles, then convert the War Eagles into King Eagles in that turn, and then in that turn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, send them over here, depending on how many you can convert per turn, which I'm going to guesstimate based on the slipways and how we're using slipways and YDKs. I don't know what the conversion cost is for a WEM. I'm going to say that you can do 2 per turn. So let's say a WEM turns into 2 KEMs. That's 2 KEMs you can move there. Out of the 4 that are currently there, you can move them there in 2 turns. So in the next 2 turns, you could theoretically move as many as 4 KEMs into 4th or 5th Legion through strat moving and or conventional operational movement. In addition, you can, at the same time, move all your SNMs and SNBs there. So you've got 3... another 4 that you can move over there. This does not include or preclude any of the new builds that you build in that turn moving there as well. If you use slipways for a conversion, you can't use them to build, I don't believe. So if you were just building ships, which I believe he can't build command cruisers, so he's got to build the War Eagle and then convert it. You can convert it same turn. And then you would send it. So you would be able to build the War Eagle and convert it in the same turn. That's fair. And then those could be strat moved. So you could, instead of what I was describing, you could effectively move a fleet in 2 turns. You could move a fleet, assuming max build, of something like 5 SNMs. So that's a 3 attack, 4 defense ship, 5 of them. So 15 attack, 20 defense. You can move those per turn to the base, and then you could send 1 King Eagle per turn to the base as well, assuming these 2 cruiser slipways. So that's another 10 attack factor. So that's so 30, 50, 60. So you could send in 2 turns, you could send a minimum of 60 attack factor to that hex and whatever you're going to support with those other 2 Star Legions. I would be concerned. I would be watching it at the very least, because the disposition of ships on here tends to suggest some kind of planetary assault. Just saying. If I am the Romulans, that's what I would do. And if I'm the Carnivon, I don't have enough to stop it. Because remember, you can use your Y. You could even use your Y ships to shield your M ships as you go through, like I did. Remember, so you can spend 3 rounds doing transit rounds where you have like a cruiser go through, and let's assume he's got 12. He's got the ability to transit 12 ships at a time. If he can transit 12 ships at a time, he sends the Vulture through, information bonus. He sends all the other ships through, like all the Y ships through, to shield the Vulture, and then he's got an entire fleet on the other side at that point, which is like I don't know, all these YWBs, which are 4 or 5 ships, and the Vulture. And then, yeah, that's going to be really bad. Not to mention that because it's so it's a capital system assault. So the initial fleet that goes out to defend the wormhole, once you finish those 3 transit rounds and you bring everything else through the wormhole, then you got to do a system defense, which means the Carnarvon ships get divided into two fleets. One fleet gets distributed across the 3 planets equally, and the third fleet, or the other fleet, gets to jump from wherever the battles are happening. So, yeah, if I'm the Romulans, that could go really well. That could go really well, especially if they've got the ability to transit 12 ships at a time. Yep, if I'm the Carnarvon, I'm watching out for that. It's gonna be dicey. Okay, let's go back to the Carnies. Right, so that's what they got on their homeworld. We'll see how that evolves. What else we got? We got a commercial convoy that's crossed the border, and it's making its way to my nearest YDK, which is down here. We've got a base being constructed here, providing supply, I guess. And what else? We got commercial convoy, bunch of ships up here. Diamond Fleet. Let's take a look at Diamond Fleet. What do they got? What do they got? Diamante. Diamante has a YDN, YCC. Oh my goodness, there are 8 YCBs, 9 YFFs, and a YDD. Okay. Interesting. Actually, thinking about this, if I'm the Carnarvon and I don't have a dialogue with the Romulans, it may be prudent for me as the Carnarvon to build a fleet and send it through to destroy that Romulan fleet, because that Romulan fleet is an existential threat to your home system, and if they were to come through with the ships that they have, it is likely they're going to make it a compromising situation for the Carnarvon. But if the Carnarvon struck first, knowing that they can transit 12 ships at a time, they've publicly said that they can, then they're just attacking that one base. So if they attack early before the Romulans are prepared, then it seems like that would be the best case scenario. And they've got ships there. They've got Diamond Fleet, which could come through and then do that. But I'm so torn. There's like 6 different ways you could do this. Interesting. Okay. So scatterbrained by that. That's so funny. Okay, so we've got, of course, Diamond Fleet could go through the Kilo wormhole, which is, as we talked about before. Whoops, don't do that. Move that back where it was. So they can move Diamond Fleet through here, and then, of course, deal with Olympus Fleet. That's one way to go. I think that's a very logical way to go. We'll have to see how that evolves. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. All right. Let's go to the ISC. The ISC, and so the little Gorn corner here, nothing much going on there. Strike Fleet is on top of the YDK. They have 3 EP there, and Livin' La Vida Loca. They're totally isolated from the rest of their economy, and any EP that's shuttled from this little pocket back to the homeworld, the Gorn homeworld, that is, has to go through Orion Pirates and then basically gets cut by 50%. For the ISC, what do we got? We've got Justice and Enforcement Fleet here. So let's see, named echelons. So you can see Justice, which is the one that's here. CC, 2 CAs, a bunch of CLs, and so on. Enforcement Fleet, which is the DN, CA, bunch of CLs and DDs. So still, keeping things nice and pretty there. Interesting to note that Cerberus Fleet is still there from the Remans. So Cerberus Fleet, if you note, nothing much in it, though. 2 destroyers, 3 basically frigates, and a crippled destroyer. So token fleet. They have not much going on there. You can see there's a small collection of ships, shall we say, bordering Strike Fleet. I would imagine that between Enforcement and Justice, they are performing constabulary duties, keeping things copacetic in that area, and making sure the Gorn don't do anything they shouldn't be doing. Other than that, things seem to be going relatively chill on the ISC side. You can see that not much else going on here other than building up. There's Order Fleet there. Sorry, I just got rid of the ISC named fleets. So Order Fleet is a YCA, 4 CLs, and a tug. I imagine building bases and so on this wormhole in preparation and or of defense of that wormhole from the Tholians, because the Tholians could definitely go through that. This is the wormhole over here, which you've seen the IC go through on the other side, and not much else. Oh, hey, look at that. There's a bug in the backyard. Got a bug to go deal with, and of course he does have some ships in the area, DDs and FFs, and of course, provider. What are those fleet called? So we got Integrity. There we go. Integrity Fleet with a CCCL and a couple of FFs. And then Providence Fleet with a CL and a bunch of DDs. So more than enough probably to go over and say hello to that bug, knock it out, and deal with that. Let's slide over to the Remans, because the Remans just mentioned something very interesting. I'm going to go over where their fleets are located, but then talk about their big reveal. Those dirty, dirty Remans. All right. So what we got here? We got Pacifica Fleet sitting on top of this wormhole. Love it, by the way. Remans. Pacifica. Boom. 2 cruisers. 12 destroyers. 12 frigates and a cripple frigate. So more than enough to stop any Tholian incursion, and certainly enough to offer a little bit of a threat. Other than that, we've got Athena Fleet sitting up there. Athena, which is the big baddie. Oh, look at all that. Oh, baby, I get so excited. 8 cruisers. 9 if you include the command cruiser, plus a dreadnought. And, oh, here's the juicy one. 21 of those destroyers. Love it. And then another 8 frigates. Man, this Athena Fleet, love it. Love it. Ugh. I can't wait for good things to happen with that fleet. All right. Be careful what you wish for, Tony. Maybe that fleet's coming for you. We'll see. So what else we got here? We got Acropolis and Rykon. So let's look at those Acropolis, those Rykon. Oh, look at that. Destroyer and 3 frigates. Nothing. And Acropolis. There we are. 3 destroyers and 2 frigates. So nothing too much there. But let's look at the exciting stuff. Where did... Dell, I'm going to need a little bit of a hint here. What was that fleet again that you had the exciting thing in? And where is it located? So I'm looking on the chat to see where you mentioned that that ship was. Dell, where is that that ship? Where is Days of Commander Chop? Let's see here. Klingon Empire. I was talking about M ships. Where is it? Romulan Wormhole. Juggernaut 3FS. Yeah. So I need to know, Dell, where this this wonderful ship of yours is. Triton. There we are. Triton. Reman. Triton Fleet. Okay. And it's in Echo 8. Echo 8. Oh, there we are. So this is the fleet that's, shall we say, prepared to assault the Lyran Collective. And the thing that's so interesting about this fleet, let's go through. We have not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 cruisers. KD4s. We have a total of 16 F4s, great ships. We have a total of 12 destroyers. We have an Admiral Akbar, well, one of their prime teams, and lo and behold, what is this nasty little thing? It is a KRMM. Crystal Mauler in the Middle Era. A Mauler. That's the little plus symbol there. It is an M-era ship, which means that the Remans have now officially entered, probably before, the M-era, and they are pushing out M-era ships. And this particular ship, this Mauler is a 10 attack, 9 defense ship. I was getting all hot to trot about the D7 being a 8 attack, 7 defense ship. Ooh, I'm so excited about that ship. No. KRM, 10 attack, 9 defense, and it's a Mauler, meaning that the 10 attack can be direct damage to a formation bonus ship at 2-1, or a non-formation bonus ship at 1-1. And if 10 damage can cripple a ship, so what ends up happening is you do all your total attack factors for a battle round, like we talked about in the battle rounds that we did last episode when we were talking about the battle through the wormhole. Calculate your battle, calculate your total attack factors, figure out your battle intensity rating, figure out the total amount of damage that you're inflicting, and out of that total damage that you're inflicting, in this case, 10 of that damage can be directed. 10 of that damage can be directed to a single target, either 2-1 for the formation bonus or 1-1 if it's not formation bonus, which means this ship, the KRM, can cripple, I believe, any ship on the map except the Klingon battleship. And depending on how much damage you did, if you directed that damage to the battleship, assuming it was an information bonus, then you could do the 10 damage from the Mauler, and then the rest of that damage would be 2-1 if it wasn't in the formation bonus, or 3-1 if it was in formation bonus, and you could eventually cripple it. Yeah, that is a dangerous ship, that KRMM. The KR, good. Damn you. It's a good ship. It's a damn good ship. All right. KRM, congratulations to the Reman Empire for entering the M era, for bringing such bad business to the game. And I'm looking forward to seeing how they are going to deploy that in their attack of the Lyran, the Lazarus Industries and the Lyran pockets. It'd be very interesting to see how that pans out, or how that works in base battles, and how they are effectively deployed against YBSs and YDKs respectively. So it'd be great to see that, GM and Dell, when that occurs. It'd be great to sort of get a play-by-play and figure out how that's going. If need be, we can do another live battle resolution to be able to sort that out. That'd be kind of cool. So super neat to see that. KRMs are in the house. Loving it. So again, key highlights for this turn so far. We have the kitties, the kitty cats, and the puppy dogs meeting in deep space. What's going to happen? Fur's going to fly. How is that going to go down? The Gorn have reached out and made friends because, you know, they like to connect people. Kumbaya from the lizard folk and their fluffy space dragons. I mean, if Puff is your mascot, I suppose getting along with everybody is a foregone conclusion. So the Gorn are making friends, and of course they're unveiling their M ships at CAMs with a 6 attack, 8 defense. The Klingons have done this Blitzkrieg attack. We call them the Blitz King. Thank you very much for that one. With 2 out of 3 targets taken, and certainly the next one taken in this turn. So that's going to be interesting. Hunter's Pride will be nothing but a distant memory as hunter-gatherers succumb to the warrior way. The Juggernauts have unleashed through Brachyfleet their biggest, baddest ship yet, and I am so happy to see that it is targeted or targeting the Tholians. And of course, in addition to 2 more things to talk about, the incursions from outer space, so to speak, the sea people of deep space are coming in and infringing on our borders. And the question mark that is yet to be answered: what is going to happen with Juliet? Oh, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Well, in this case, is it the Romulans climbing up to Juliet's balcony through the wormhole, or is it Rosalind kicking Romeo to the curb because he's saying Juliet when he's climbing the wrong balcony? I don't know. We'll figure that out. Rosalind being the girl that in the play he was hitting on before Juliet. So interesting. Yes, the Carnivons, are they going to be able to defend their capital against a Romulan attack? Are the Romulans going to even attack? Who knows? Nonetheless, it's an exciting and delighting series of events, and let's talk. All right, let's see here. Paul Stutter, Maulers can't direct ships Can't direct ships in the formation bonus. I believe they can. Can they not? I thought they directed damage to. I thought they can direct damage. Yeah, my understanding is, we'll have to look it up. I believe they can direct damage to ships in formation bonus. They just can't. It's just 2-to-1 versus 1-to-1, and they do 1-to-1 damage for ships not in formation bonus, I believe. I'll just have to make more than one Mauler, says Dell. True. Daniel Eastland. Mauler ships may not use special effect against ships placed in the formation bonus. Oh, well, there you go. Rule 308.451. They cannot use it against formation bonus. Okay, fair enough. There we go. Well, then Maulers, I mean, the key purpose behind Maulers is to take out bases, so it'll be curious to see how they attack ships in, or not ships, but rather they attack bases. As bases, I guess bases could be a formation bonus, but bases are in the base box, and so you can direct damage against those bases. Very, very interesting. And of course, Maulers can just take out high-value ships regardless, so it'll be interesting to see how that works out. Very, very interesting. What do you think? What do you think about the sort of evolution of the game so far? We've seen the Balkans, first of all, be created, and then the struggle to be able to see them, the land grab, you might say, as people are trying to grab or lay claim to certain aspects of it. The ISC are making their inroads. The Carnivons coming across the kitty cats. The Klingons, grinding their traditional, stereotypical acts against the Federation. And, of course, the Remans going in and getting themselves some lion pride. So what is that going to look like? How long do you think it's going to be for these factions to hold out? And once it's all sort of settled in the sense of these different factions have claimed their territory, what's that going to look like? How is that going to evolve in the game? What are we going to see from the perspective of these factions? How is that going to play with the power struggle? It'll be very, very interesting. Also, with the, shall we say, the full maturity of wormholes occurring, which is multiple factions now have supply through wormholes and can transport or can go through them and have multiple ships go through. We talked about the Carnivons with 12. We hypothesize that the Romulans can do the same. The Klingons have obviously demonstrated they can. The ISC can. So that's 4 out of 7 factions that can. Oh, the Gorn, of course, can. So that's, oh my God. That's 5 out of 7 factions that can. Where the Tholians on that, I don't know. And I think the Remans can go through wormholes. So everybody can transit wormholes. And so if we argue that it's fully mature, that technology, how is that going to change the game? How are people going to start using and leveraging wormholes to move the needle and cause chaos? I am so looking forward to this. This is going to be so cool. Yeah, that's going to be neat. Okay, and as Dell is saying here, Mauler fleets. Man, if you start fielding full Mauler fleets, I think all of us are going to be scared crapless, because if you have a fleet of 10 ships, assuming the command factor on those things is only 9, well, let's say it's 8. I think it's 8. So let's say you've got 9 Maulers in a fleet. 90 damage that you can direct against anything. Now, you can only direct damage, I believe you can only direct damage one target at a time. So, having more than one Mauler in a fleet's kind of moot. But just the fact that there are 10 attack ships, wow, that's crazy. Yeah. With M-Tech and GW Tech bases, the SIDS number increases to 18 per SIDS, 9 with a Mauler. Oh, okay. So that's, Maulers are critical to be able to take out M and GW bases. So it'll be interesting to see how that evolves. Interesting. Well, I'm super excited to see how this goes. For those of you who have already fired us a coffee, thank you so much for your support today. I know 4 was an ambitious goal. Looks like we're only halfway there, but I appreciate your support. For those who have, if you've done it in the past, if you've done it today, thank you so much for the caffeine injection. One last thing. We are going to be, well, I guess two other things. One, we talked about the patches. So if you are on Discord and you have seen, I have posted a link to the. Let me try that again. I have created a sign-up sheet for those people to provide me their information so I can mail you your patch. If you are a subscriber, a player in New Worlds and on the Discord, that post is up. I will be sending out a message to all coffee supporters shortly with a link to that form so that you can provide me your information so I can mail you your patch. And then we can go from there. Mailing the patches, depending on where you live in the world, should be, knock on wood, relatively inexpensive. The big concerns of the folks that live in the UK and, of course, Australia, mailing you your patches is going to be a little bit more complicated. And so if I can mail them once to one location and then distribute them from there, Paul, Del, Jim, then maybe that would be more effective. Terry, you're kind of solo in Australia, so I don't really have anyone I could. I've only got to send you one patch, so it'll be fine. But either way, that'll be the constraint there. You let me know if you want me to put those patches up for purchase, and if you hold on. Woo! Here we are, sliding across. If you want me to put these patches up for, there we go. If you want me to put these, God, it's so inverted. There we are. So if you want me to put these patches up for purchase, you let me know. And as they are the logo that you see there in the middle. If they were up for purchase, what do you think would be an appropriate price for these? They did obviously have a cost to be able to make them, and then of course shipping them to you is going to be, depending on where you live in the world, is going to be a challenge. I'm on the west coast of Canada, so depending on where you are, shipping will be a challenge. But you let me know. What do you think is a good price for a patch like this? It is an embroidered patch. It's bigger than your eyeball, as you can see there, and 3 inches across is the diameter. So yeah, you let me know. What do you think? It's fully embroidered patch. It's looking good. And of course, if you want to buy these, then what do you think is a good price? If you are a player in the New Worlds campaign, then I will be sending you one of these, provided I have your address and I can send it to you. And like I say, the form is in the Discord channel if you want to fill that out. And if you have not filled it out, please do so. If you are a coffee supporter, I will be sending you one as well. But I will be sending you a message via coffee to be able to notify you and ask you to click a link and give me your mailing address so I can send it to you. And away we go. Yeah, good note. There is 14 of you currently reviewing at the moment. So thank you very much for hitting our 15, which was our peak viewership at this point. And if you can, be so kind, hit that big thumbs up button to tickle the YouTube algorithm in just the right way. Put a smile on its face so that it can put a smile on this video's face. Jeez, yeah, okay, you know what I'm trying to say. Tickle the algorithm, make them like what we do, and away we go. With that said, thank you very much. Tell two friends about what it is we're doing here. If they like Star Trek, if they like turn-based wargaming and various things like that, then please share the wealth, share the news, and see if they like what we do here. Telling the story and sharing the news about what's going on in the Star Trek New Worlds universe, so to speak, as we play this campaign and evolve this story going forward. With that said, thank you very much for being with me today. This has been Grabby Klingons, and I will see you next week. Bye for now.